Hi guys, and welcome to today's video where I'm going to be digging up this rather patchy area of lawn where the trampoline was to install a soakaway for my garden room. Now this is a job I should have done a long time ago, and currently all I'm using here for drainage is a water butt and basically an opening there in the guttering. I haven't even got a drain pipe coming down to feed the water, but it's just dropping straight out. So first things first, I'm just going to get the water butt and empty it out, and then I'm going to completely get rid of that. And as you can see here, we have the crates. This is what the system's going to look like. So them crates are going to get buried. We've got the drainage pipe running around the corner, and then we have the little gully there that's going to be buried beneath the ground. And with the new setup, we're actually going to have a drain pipe feeding that. So the first job here is for me and Stanley to clear the area around the side, just get rid of all the gravel and the weed membrane. And then following that, I'm also going to mark on the floor where that gully needs to be and dig out a hole to place that in. So I did that there with a level. I just leveled down from the opening in the guttering, marked it on the floor. I'm just using a grafting shovel there to dig the hole. Obviously the grafter is designed for digging holes, so it's going to be much easier than using just a standard shovel for this. So if you're doing something similar, I highly recommend getting one of these. Great little tool. If you ever need to dig basically straight down for fence posts or anything like that, it's the perfect tool. And as you can see, we've got the hole at the right depth here, and I've just put the little gully trap in there to show you exactly what that'll look like. And following that, I'm going to continue digging around the corner to create a trench that the drainage pipe is actually going to sit in the bottom of. So this is pretty straightforward, not too complicated. You've just got to roll your sleeves up and prepare to do a little bit of work here, just digging. Again, I'm using the grafting shovel, and I'm also using a standard shovel. I've also got Stanley here giving me a hand, and as you can see, as always, he's doing a fantastic job. He just needs a little bit of a hand getting the shovel going, but once he's got it in the ground, he's definitely able to dig that out pretty well himself. But I am a little bit faster, so most of the time it was me doing the digging and Stanley was manning the wheelbarrow. Okay, so once we reached the right distance around the corner here, I used a spirit level and a square there just to get the corner. I'm sure this is not the best way of doing it. A proper ground worker who does this all the time might have a better technique, maybe using a string line or something. But this worked perfectly well. I just used my 6-foot level then to kind of mark this out with a garden trowel. And this just gave me a clear guide of exactly where I needed to dig. And to be honest, once I got the pipes in this, it was completely square. I didn't have to really make any adjustments at all. So maybe not the best method, but it definitely worked. Following that, it's just a case of carrying on with the digging. We're just using the normal shovel and the grafter. I do recommend, however, using several tools for this. So I used the grafter, I also use a normal shovel, and I also use the mattock, which is a type of pickaxe, which is just really great for digging. But there we go. We've got the trench all the way to the area of the garden now where the soakaway is going to be placed. And as you can see, if I just stick a level on top of this, we're just touching that left-hand line with the bubble there, which means that this pipe has a really nice amount of fall running towards that soakaway. So obviously you want to be sloping down towards the soakaway. Not too much, but just enough to carry water nicely down the pipe. Okay, so you can see there I was using an edging tool to go around the crates to give me the right area that I need to cut out. And again, I'm just going to use this edging tool just to kind of cut along the top of the turf here, because obviously we're going to remove that and we're not going to be putting that back in. This can just go in the skip. And it's just a case of taking that turf off the top, which is pretty straightforward, just using the shovel. And then we are ready to actually dig the hole. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to say I should have used a mini digger for this, but there is absolutely no access to my garden for a mini digger. Also, I like to just show everyone that this is completely possible, these type of jobs, just with a shovel and just with a little bit of hard work. Also, the way I see it, it never hurts to get a little bit of exercise, and this is certainly a bit of hard work and some decent exercise. So you can see there down the hole we had some gravel in the bottom. That was actually 10mm limestone. That's just going to help with drainage and give us something to sit these crates on top of. The crates themselves are being connected together there with some little clips that came with them. Very, very straightforward and not at all complicated. And following that, we're going to wrap it in a membrane. Now, the reason for the membrane is we don't want any of the material, the soil, the gravel or anything like that passing into the grates. The reason the grates work so well is because they're essentially a void which can hold a lot of water. If we didn't put a membrane around it, dirt and everything could fill inside and it would really ruin the efficiency of the soakaway itself. So we're just going to wrap that up and tape it, and then just pop it into the hole. This is very easy again because the crates are actually very light, so it's not that difficult to do this even on your own. You can see here it's just a case of maneuvering it and getting it down into the hole. Obviously you've got to make sure your hole's big enough, so I did around 100 mil around either side of the hole to ensure it fit. Now you can see what I'm doing is I'm just cutting a hole in the membrane. This is going to allow me to feed the pipe into it, so you'll just see now this sliding across, that goes in nicely, and you can just see it now from a slightly different angle going in. So this is all working as expected. I've added some 10 mil limestone around the crates. This is just kind of packing it in. It's going to give more drainage as well. And then I'm going to move on to putting the corner in there. So you can see that into the gully I've added a little bit of drainage pipe, and there's also a bend on there. These are all push fit, so pretty simple. I added another longer piece into that bend, and then you can see here me just adding the push fit connector on here. So these, they do require a little bit of force, but you can see once you get it going, a little tap with a hand, and that's it. So this is not complicated. Literally the first time that I've ever added these type of drainage pipes, and it was very, very easy to do. So once this was done, you can see that I have added a load more of that 10 mil limestone. The main reason for this was I just had loads of it left from the Soakaway area. It's also going to add to really good drainage, and it kind of packs the pipe in and lets me get underneath it and support it in the position that it's in. So, you know, I basically used up all the rest of that 10 mil, and then following that I can start adding the soil back on top. Now the soil from the top, the first two bags, was really nice soil, really nice free draining stuff. However, when I got deeper, particularly in the Soakaway area, we did hit clay. So what I wanted to do was completely avoid adding any of that clay back in. So you can see the bag on the front left there is almost entirely clay, and I got myself a little mini skip which I hired. It wasn't that expensive, and I basically just got the remainder of the clay soil and some other rubble that I had lying about the garden into that skip. We just put the best stuff back into the garden because we want to maintain as much decent drainage as possible. The next job is adding on the drain pipe. You can see there I've just used two corner pieces connected together, and I was quite lucky here that this was exactly the right size. So if you want to extend that, you can add a little bit of drain pipe in between just to extend that corner. But luckily this worked out perfectly for me. So there we go, we've got the drainage pipe also connecting into that. These are just push fit, so very simple, and I'm just using a bracket here that goes around the drain pipe to fix this into my garden room, which is wood. So again, no need to drill any holes or anything, it's just screwing straight into the wood. And there you go guys, the crates are completely covered up, so you can barely tell that there's anything under there apart from the fact that there is no grass, although the grass wasn't that great anyway. The drain pipes here are complete, or the drainage pipes should I say, are completely buried. You can see there the little gully, the top of it, with the drain pipe running down into it. So we actually have a working drain pipe now connected to the guttering, and this is a full working drainage system for the garden room now. And one more thing, just to end the video, I've got a little area of garden here that I'm going to be using for another project. So have a little guess in the comments, what do you think I'm going to do here? Also, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.